Okay. Finally. Good morning, everyone. Here's a little music for you. When you come in, let me know where you're calling from. Say hello. The comments are open. And as soon as I get a few comments, we'll go ahead and start this 45-minute session. I'm Leslie Flowers. Thank you so much for being here. Come in, grab your coffee, your soda, your water. Are you there yet? If I could reach the stars, I'd pull one down for you and shine it on my heart so you could see the truth. Hey, Omar, that this love I have is everything it seems. Ooh, Christy, but for now I find it's only in my dream, and I can change the world. I will be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good, baby, if I could change the world. Everybody ready? Come on in, give it a share, and we'll get started here in just a minute. I'll sing you another. Oh, there's Islam. Hi. And if I could be a queen, even for one day, I'd take you as my king. I'd have it no other way, and our love would rule in this kingdom we've made. Till then I'd be a fool, wishing for the day, and I can change the world. So can you. I would be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my life was really something good, baby, if I could change the world. All right, here we go. Couldn't figure out how to get the cookies going this morning. That was Eric Clapton. And I'm Leslie Flowers, and I have been teaching Think and Grow Rich in the lessons for 16 years. And I'm so glad you're here. This is a 12-week series live. Today is a really important day because procrastination is the top of 30 reasons why people fail. So think about it. When we procrastinate, what's the difference between people who succeed, the very few, and all the rest of us who don't? The answer you will get this morning, I've been giving it to you every week, once you understand how simple it is to make a decision. Can you imagine that whenever you had to make a decision, you didn't stress over it, you didn't ask other people, you were your own counsel. You already had the answer. Successful people make quick decisions, and they're very slow to change them if they do at all. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Ashif, hello. Let's say hello here. So the cookies aren't working. I haven't figured this out, but going live and ending the stream, unless the cookies prompt comes up, I have a battle with it. So I've got to figure that out. Anyway, no problem. All sorts of things changing. So good morning. Let's see who's here. Ashif. Ha. How are you, Ashif? And here is Omar M. Omar does Zoom party and a Sunday at noon. Do we really know them? Live stream, lots of fun things and unique. Ashif is in Toronto and he's a muse. Watch, he's my muse if you could have a male one. And I think he's Rumi in reincarnated. I hope one day he doesn't say to me, don't do that anymore, Leslie. There's Dr. Islam. So glad that you're here. Thank you very much. It's Friday. And, one of the things we'll talk about today is the decision and the risk required to make decisions. And of course, you know that today, if you didn't know, it's a really good reminder for this particular lesson. 61 years ago, the President of the United States was shot to death in a parade or a motorcade, and it changed the world. He changed our world. All right, so let me see who else is here. Hi, Christy. Happy Friday. Gosh, I feel really good. Did you guys know that Tuesday, whether you believe this or not, but if you choose to consider that it's true, Tuesday was the beginning of 20 years, the age of Aquarius. Now, I don't know if you believe in astrology, but gosh, they've been studying it for thousands of years, and there are commonalities. We don't have to know everything about it to see the commonalities with our own eyes. The similarity you have with other people that are your horoscope sign. That when you're dealing with me, a Sagittarius, that as long as I'm cool, I'm going to be very straight. But if I get upset, I will be straight and maybe not so nice. But you can count on me to tell the truth. Every time I will stand up for it. Not everybody does that. So when you know someone like myself, you go, oh, that's Sagittarius, right? That's what they do. They're straight shooters. As a man, I would be considered perfect. As a woman, I'm considered assertive. So it's all those labels, isn't it? All right, let's see who else is here. We've got my friend Christine Fidi speaking to us in Italian this morning. I love that. We have Lisa Fevic, who is a registered dietitian, helps people with offsetting their problems, in particular in menopause, with the food we're eating, or determining what foods are we eating that exacerbate the problems. And she has an audio room. There's Princess. Good morning, Princess. Thank you for being here. And let me make sure I've got everybody here. Okay, good. Good. Let me just tell you, this is some kind of a juicy lesson. And a little bit more about the next 20 years. It's been over 200 years since mankind was in the age of Aquarius, and that we are an energetic world. You know this already. You may not understand physics, but you understand the basic law of attraction, that your results match, who you're being. People show up. If you're in a lousy mood, you'll notice people with lousy moods show up, or you're attracted to people with lousy moods. You can walk into a room where people are in a bad mood and you're in a good mood, and you leave and you don't feel the same. So you may not know exactly how or why it happened, but it did. You think, well, why am I upset today? So what this means from everything I've heard is that we're entering abundance, love, creativity, lots of money coming and opportunities from unexpected sources. This is the magic of the age of Aquarius. Be surprised. Oh, well, that was a coincidence. Be listening for a potential opportunity. Now, I will tell you, on Tuesday, 2 things happened. That was the first day. Unexpected client, right? And bringing in another colleague. Big time. Way more than I usually make. not expecting it, didn't go after it. In fact, I've kind of given up making a lot of money. I'm okay as I am. I just love this teaching. And I want you to understand that you are a manifester and an alchemist. I will show you how it works. And then you will see for yourself. And that is the magic we all wanted when we were 12 years old. And we worked it. When we were 12 and we wanted a new this or a new that, what did we do? First of all, we were very clear about what we wanted. We saw it everywhere. It's kind of like when you get pregnant, all of a sudden everybody's pregnant. So it's top of mind. And that leads to the introduction in Think and Grow Rich. And the child who has very few fears or limited fears at this point, they know exactly what they want. Our problem is we don't know. And so that is, we don't believe through our own experiences that it's possible that we can be, do, or have whatever we want, as long as we're not violating the rights of other people. And I know sometimes we do because we're human beings. But it's more about being aware of your own behaviors and how little by little you can move from fear to faith. And decision is huge in this. Let me just see who else is here, and then we'll get started. Well, we kind of started already. All right. Hi, Elizabeth. So good to see you. How are you? And Ben, thank you for being here, Ben. So happy to see you. Oh, okay. So there's an assertive Aries. And see, there's 3 fire signs. I'm a Sagittarius. Christy is an Aries. And then the other one is Leo. You may find, if you're one of those signs, that you just feel a kindred spirit with these people because they're as outspoken and gregarious as you are. Fire signs are your philosophers, your creatives. So thank you for sharing that. What did I do? There we go. Oh, yes, we said that already. Yes, I will. And let me just tell you something. Hi, Dennis. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I will give it to you straight. Now, most of my life, I was told, don't talk, change your attitude. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say, which built a self-image of, I'm not very smart and no one wants to hear from me. Now, at the end of my life, oh my God, I've come back. I'm standing for people left and right. I am saying what there is to say because the fear of criticism is gone for the most part. Like, what do you think of what I say? It's my intention that it lands for you objectively to consider another way of looking at it. That's all. It's not that one way or another is better. What you know is it's grabbing morsels from different concepts we hear that align. We hear it again, but we hear it a little differently, and it bends further. We know through our intuition that what we're hearing is so. And if it was a lie, you usually know, because your intuition, is your connection to the universe, and it's all about truth. So it's a very fun thing to do. So let me just see here. Just want to make sure I didn't leave anybody out. Okay. So each week, although I've taught this over 16 years through 62 business quarters where everything is repeated every week in 12-week cycles. Why? Well, if you've been listening, because of autosuggestion, the 4th principle of success. So let's get into this. If you have any questions, oh yeah. Yeah, that's another one that Omar does. And also, before we get into this, let me say this to you. Courage is what you're going to hear. Now, you all know, if you're interested in audio rooms and you participate, which I do, and you do, most all of you have your own rooms, you attend them, they're wonderful. There's a change. Well, boy, look at the divide. You got the rats jumping ship, right? Before they even know why or what it's going to be like, you got people coming out of the woodwork wanting to sell you another platform. This platform is free. Part of a strategy and making a decision includes due diligence. I believe that the reason people jump away right away without knowing is because they're afraid. Simply afraid that they'll get caught with their pants down. So then they jump to another ship or they jump off the ship, but they haven't even give them a month. You can still run your shows, observe what the new format is like. And then if it isn't even better, we don't even know if it's better. So I just want to say to you that if you have an audio room that you do this month, what I do know is you go ahead and set them up before the first week of December, like soon, because then you'll be able to use the old format that we're comfortable with now. If you do not, you will have to invest, if you haven't already, in a live or a streaming platform. And there is a fee included with that. But if you jump to another platform, you're going to pay there. Plus the fact that you're dissolving or diluting your community. I love having you all right here. I don't want to run all over the place. But anyway, that's me. Okay, let's go. Are you ready? I'm ready. Decision is the mastery of procrastination. And there's a few things that I want to share with you about that. But first, I want to do a little backtracking because we're at decision next week. In 2 weeks, we'll do persistence. But these do build on each other. Now, these have been stories for the last 12 weeks. This is the last week that these recordings will be on my page. So you can study with me when I'm moving the recordings away from LinkedIn. Why would you invest to work with me if everything's free and right here? I don't mind. But, my intellectual property is important. And one of my advisors suggested that it's just not here for everybody to grab. So I thought I'd give it a whirl. I'll give it a try for a month and see what happens. Okay. We began with the introduction in Think and Grow Rich. Now, the thing about Think and Grow Rich is Napoleon Hill spent 20 years interviewing thousands of people, but 500 of our country's most successful citizens. They're happy, healthy, and wealthy. They don't just have a lot of money and they've got a bad mindset or attitude, right? They have it all. But only a few do. So what Napoleon Hill did over the 20-year period, he interviewed people multiple times at the behest of Andrew Carnegie, who wanted to know, what are these people doing that everybody else is failing to do? The information in this book has been around since we recorded history, 5,000 years. You can find it everywhere, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Quran, in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, in the Tao. You name it, it's all here. But Napoleon Hill synthesized it. And they're known as the principles of success. And over this last 100 years, almost all of the personal development greats that are wildly successful, like multimillionaires, Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, all of those people were weaned on Think and Grow Rich. Now, they won't tell you that that's the basis of their programs for whatever their reason, but I'm going to tell you, if you know Think and Grow Rich and you look at their work, you know exactly where it came from. And also, I studied with Bob Proctor, and so did most of them. So I'm going to give you what you need to be happy, healthy, and wealthy, to achieve what it is you want, to know what it is you want. So we begin with the introduction. It's not even one of the 13 principles of success. Yes, without the introduction, none of it works. And that's why we spent 3 weeks and 3 stories around definite purpose. It all sits on top of the seed of what you want. You have to get clear of what it is that you want and why you want it, very simply. And you must visualize it in your imagination, what it's like once you already have it. It has to be crystal clear. It has to motivate you and inspire you every day. You don't have to work on it every day. You only have to think about it for a few minutes every day, because when you do that, it gets more and more clear. You get more and more excited. So instead of your goal being, oh, there's the beach house that I want to have, instead of that, what you imagine and visualize is yourself inside the house after you bought it. The idea here is that it will raise your cellular vibration through what you're thinking. Mind is a cellular activity. It is not an organ. So when you feel really good, there's a spring in your step, that shows it. When you're feeling lousy, you're dragging your feet, you're stubbing your toe. Okay, so we did 3 stories for you to understand the power of definite purpose. Don't even go further unless you know what you want. And what is it that you want? What is it that compels you? You got to have a good reason. Is it for your family? Is it to put your grandkids through college? Whatever it is it to change the world? I would be the sunlight in your universe. Whatever it is, you have to fall in love with it, and that's where we come to desire. So once you're clear about what it is, don't even go further. Read the introduction again and again. Sit down. And if you don't know what you want, maybe you can think about what you don't want. Start there. Do the Benjamin Franklin, or do the polarity, right? I don't want this, but I do want this. And when people are falling in love, you've heard of this. Before they meet the person, they very often make a list of the attributes they're looking for. Why? Because you begin to visualize it. It's exciting. It raises your vibration, and this is your connection to the universe. Your results, physical results, match what you believe. Most of us have faith in our fear that we can't do it, that we failed so many times we can prove it. I mean, really, we should just put ourselves in a closet and be done with it. However, it is possible with conscious awareness, and only we humans can do this. If you fall in love with an idea that makes a difference, size doesn't matter. It's relative to each of us. It's what floats your boat. It's what turns you on. It's something that you love thinking about every day or every other day. You may not even work toward it every day, but you are birthing, developing this spiritual seed, which is an idea, which is thought energy. And you must do this to maintain the inspiration and motivational feeling that you have as much as possible, because that amplitude of vibration is the speed with which what you want shows up on your doorstep. So desire is next. It's built on top. You see the world through this filter. Everything you hear, it's like when you want to have a baby and you get pregnant, the whole world is pregnant, right? So that is very clear about what you want. And then when you have it, that's all you think about when you're pregnant. That's pretty much, oh, there's another pregnant person. There's another. Is everybody having sex at the same time we did, honey? Right? How come everybody's pregnant? Well, they were already. But because it was top of mind, we were on a different thought frequency. Or it might have been the 5th dimension, 5D, which I'm getting into, and it's so exciting. You can go there without taking a step into another dimension. I figured it out and I've studied it. Anyway, that's another story. Okay, now, the way you build faith, we already have faith in our fears. because we've proven it. We've thought about it. It feels lousy. We've thought about it all our life. Every time we bring it up, how we failed, it lowers our vibration and reminds us of how lousy it is. So what we're doing is we want to build faith in your ability and deservability, that you can do this. And how do we do that? Through that repetition of holding the space and focusing on this gift that you're giving to the universe, that you've created, that you know you're the one, and you're going to do it no matter what. It will outweigh the fear. And when you complete it, you have now built perfect faith, because faith comes in 3 tiers. Over the time between when you decide what you want and the date when you want it completed, that's very important that it's a specific date, because it's exciting. You don't know how to do it. This is something you don't know how to do. If you know how, you would have already. There's a lot behind that. So then what happens is when you complete it, oh my goodness, now you've disproven the fear that you've been listening to, which is real all your life, because through your own actions, you develop faith. And the 3 levels are, when you start is, first, you're going to give it a whirl, expectation. Then, as time goes on and you continue visualizing this wonderful thing that you love and that you want to bring into the world for your reasons, without violating the rights of anybody else, please, right? Because that changes the vibration. You will come to a point where people and opportunities will show up to take you toward your goal, and they're not coincidences. Because you and I are cause in the matter of our life. The way we feel about our heart-centered services in the world, the goodness that we do, we're co-creators. This is how God or the universe knows whether we've been good or bad, right? And we get exactly who we are. So we're letting our co-creator, the universe, know, hey, this is the direction I'm going. And how does God know? Or this is one energetic force that is omnipresent and wants you to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. It is all about goodness. That's what it's all about. But you will also get not so good if that's what you're focused on. So if you're grumbling and you're miserable and, oh, I'm a victim and all these things are happening, I can't find a job, you still can't find a job. But there's a way to learn to adjust your cellular vibration. It is through what you think. So then when you have faith in that thing, in your ability and your deservability, because you've disproven it, that's when that moves into your belief system. So now you have perfect faith in yourself doing this thing that you've never done, and likely faith in God. But we have 6 basic fears that are deeply embedded, and they come in the epilogue. But the reason it's important to know is that faith in God and faith in this new thing that you just completed. Look at Christine Feedy. In very short order, she got an MBA on a short timeline. And basically, she painted herself into a corner. But she had a why. And maybe she thought she couldn't do it. But that's what Christine does. She continually disproves anything that tells her she can't do it. And that anything is her. But you have to start with the definite purpose. What do you want next? What difference will it make? Now, we learn through autosuggestion or self-suggestion. So obviously, if you're thinking about this, and this is my overview of how to observe the way this system works, because it's through repeating the system and autosuggestion, the repetition of these concepts that further embed into you, into your memory, these things. And pretty soon they just become part of you. And it's a lot of fun. It's called growing in awareness and continuous learning. After all, remember that human beings are the only living thing that can do this. that can take an idea, which is thought energy, and turn it into physical form. I had an idea 25 years ago about the book in the corner, but I didn't write it for 20 years. I had the outline. Why didn't I write it? I wasn't ready. So sometimes if you come up with a huge goal and you may not even know that it's huge at the time, the universe will not give it to you until you've done your work, in some cases. Okay, so then last week we talked about imagination, which is the workshop of the mind. So now you've got a very specific purpose from the introduction. You've fallen deeply in love with it. You see the world through the prism of this thing you want. Everybody you meet seems to be talking about or feeding into your goal, which happens in faith. And you're doing all this visualization, really taking the idea which comes to you through your five senses. You get an idea. When you make the decision that this is what you're going to work on, then you begin this process. Visualization is the DNA required for manifestation. Just like in an acorn, there's no little oak tree in the acorn when you plant it. No, the DNA to attract what is required through the universe, environmental, etc., is in that seed once it's planted. This is the same thing. The only difference is we can say, oh, well, this seed will pop up in this environment in 2 weeks. We cannot say exactly when the universe will deliver what you want. But it's still important to go for a certain date because it raises your vibration and it continually sends the message to the universe. And that's the amplitude of vibration that's moving what you want toward you. So what you want is moving toward you as you're moving toward it in your imagination. There are two kinds of imagination. The idea that you get that's wild, right? Then that one is creative imagination. And then as soon as you get the idea, your synthetic imagination kicks into high gear. All the experiences you had, and visually you start figuring out, well, I don't know how to do it, but I could do this first. And I've had an experience here. So it's rather like gathering in all your experiences to help support and grow and build this idea. So today, well, in 2 weeks, we'll come back with persistence. But today we're going to do, we're going to look at decision. And there's several stories that go with this. But the one that Napoleon Hill focuses most heavily on is the Declaration of Independence. And you've got 36 men who risked it all for our country. They knew they could be killed and hung by the neck until dead. They took a risk for us, just like John Kennedy did. If you think about it, when you go to decide that you want to be president or you want to be in a political office, there's a risk. You could die. So your commitment to being in politics, to leading a country as an example, must outweigh the fear of that risk. You have to choose. And that's why that it requires courage. Now, another example of this is Lincoln with his Emancipation Proclamation. Abraham Lincoln, he knew that freeing the slaves in the United States was going to turn people against him. He knew there was going to be war. He knew that he was risking his life, but it was okay because he was a stand and compelled to do this thing, which he did, and it did kill him ultimately. That's courage. And another one, of course, is Henry Ford. You know, the Model T was the ugliest car ever. And everybody advised this obstinate man who would not change his mind. And this brings up successful people make quick decisions and are very slow to change them. Now, I'm going to give you one more example, and then I'll tell you how to use what I'm going to show you to always make the quickest decision. But this is given that you've got a definite purpose, that you've fallen in love with it. It's crystal clear that you've got some fear, but you don't care. This means more to you than your failures in the past. You don't know how to do it. Then you repeatedly begin to think about it and just feel generally good. You use your imagination, which is the workshop of the mind. When you bring these images up, the feeling comes with them. So if you ever have trouble resurrecting the image, you got to go back to why, right? And to the definite purpose, but you can also borrow memory. And there's a discipline called heart math that talks about doing this very thing. If you're interested in, let me check the because we're moving quickly through the time here. Let me see who's here. Oh, okay, there's Cyrus. Hi, Cyrus. So good to see you. Hi, Aaron. Oh, so good to see you. Let me see what Ashif said. You were created on purpose, with a purpose, for purpose. What is yours? Well, I think that we all have the same purpose, to serve, but it changes. The vehicle changes as we grow. So we might serve in one industry and 10 years later in another, and then we might study another discipline and serve that way. But it's all about heart-centered service and being really clear. Okay, let's see what Elizabeth says. There you go. You had to want it so much that the fears shut down. When I started this work 16 years ago, I had $500 in an Edward Jones account, and I was making $2,500 a month as a secretary. Happy, living okay, right? And then I found Bob Proctor, and I was led through a series of intuitive moves and ended up on his site. Never knew who he was until the movie The Secret came out. I didn't know who this old guy was. But when they told me what was in store for me, and I'm one of the very few people that has continued teaching and studying this work for over 20,000 hours, I just knew. My question in November of 2007 was, how much? That would be your question too. And she said, the salesperson said, $16,000. I said, great, I'll be there in the spring. Now, it was impossible. I had no access to this. My grandma had died years ago. She had some money, right? But I was separated at the time. He didn't have any money really. I was fine. I've never been about money. And that's another Sagittarian trait, by the way. Sagittarius are interested in service, not about the money. So when you get the money, we put it into service. Other people love money and they just want to have a lot of it and they can do whatever they want with it. But I've never been that way. Even when I was a top salesperson, it was more about winning and being the top than the prize I got, which, by the way, in 1972 was a blue fox cape, if you can imagine such a thing. Okay, so, all right, where was I? Oh, God, sorry. All right, yeah. Another story real quickly here. Socrates, way back when, this changed the world. He drank the cup of hemlock poison and killed himself rather than give up on his values and standards. And that changed the world. That allows us to be free thinkers. He risked his life. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly how to make any decision with ease. Okay? It's a question. But let's remember here, if you don't have one, or if you don't have the definite purpose, and you haven't built desire in it, You haven't begun to work on it, not crazy work on it, but hold it top of mind. This is something you're meant to do right now, however long it takes, regardless of the fear. You do that through repetition, auto-suggestion. You use your imagination to build out the visual image of you're already having it and picturing it every day or every other day. It's only one thing at a time because I want you to get the process so that you can repeat it for every single purpose-filled action or goal that you have. The universe has given us this, but very often we have so many goals, we never get anything done. So by doing one goal and following this process, which works for my clients, there are 500 12-week goals that were set and achieved using this process, all different sizes. And in 12 weeks, it's not like I'm going to make $1 million, right? That's ridiculous, right? But it could be the first 12 weeks toward that. Or it could be that you're starting a new business and first things first. What do you have to do when you start a new business? Well, we got to create some collateral, right? Some content to let people know what the heck we're doing. So the size doesn't matter. It matters that you've not done it before, that you're super compelled to do it, and that you don't care about the fears. Because for me, I didn't tell you this. I got to tell you this. 4 months later, so 2 months before I was supposed to show up in West Palm Beach, I still didn't have a dime, but they had asked me to do a mastermind and teach 8 people this, which I did. So I was all wrapped up in that, in being able to teach this material. And I got a call from my soon-to-be ex. Leslie, I'm sending you a check. We had to sell off some stock and your share is $20,000. I didn't know. The universe sends it in unexpected sources. It's when the unexpected things show up. And by the way, I went there and got certified, and it was all wonderful. All right. So the question, sorry, because we're now at 10:43. Here's what you do. Once you've done all of these things, my friends, here's the thing. Ask the question, when you're faced with an opportunity or a question or a decision while you're on this path, if I do this, will it take me directly toward my goal or not? And if it doesn't, you just don't do it now, which means forget the squirrels. It doesn't mean because you don't do it right now that you'll never do it. It doesn't go away. You must have the discipline to say, you know what, this doesn't take me toward my goal. Thank you so much for offering. Could we talk about this next month? I'd love to hear more about it. So you have to be so in love with the thing you're doing that these other ideas that come to you that sound juicy, they're good. We're living in the age of Aquarius. I love them all. But you have to, and we'll get to persistence, which aligns with discipline in 2 weeks. You must say no. And this is the question that Henry Ford asked himself when everybody was pressuring him to change the black, ugly Model T into another form, another color, anything. And he was very obstinate, and he did not take their advice. I'm not sure what his goal was, but I will tell you this. He made a fortune by not changing, by asking that question. All right, let's see what we have here. Let's see here. Let's see what, hi, Jasmine. Love that money should be used for a servant. Ultimately, it is. I mean, it's not really the love of money, the greenback. I hope not. It's love. It's a tool. What do? The Aztecs, right? Well, I don't want to get into that. That's just kind of a fun story I was going to tell you. Okay. Oh, thank you. Oh, Cyrus, shameless promotion. Thank you. Okay, let's see who else. Ashif says, number one human currency is feeling we get from engaging with our purpose. That feeling and the age, like the negatives that you had that fear develop when you were humiliated, when you were 8 or 9 years old, whatever it was. You also go back, your memory brings you back to that age. That's a little kind of fun thing to share. Okay, so the lesson. Successful people make quick decisions and are very slow to change them, if at all. And Henry Ford would not. The question is, if I take this on, will that action be a task to take me directly toward my goal? And you have to be honest with yourself, because the whole thing is the love of bringing this piece of service into the world. If you take on everything, a lot of times that's the fear of criticism. Well, I should do this because, it looks good. Other people will think better of me. Forget that. Your purpose is the most important thing. And the reason we only do one at a time is because you have a life to live, right? You don't have to do a lot of work for this to happen. You only have to be curious and a bit courageous and really want to know about these mysteries. So remember, once you've got the definite purpose that you're working on right now, you've fallen in love with it, over time through auto-suggestion, you will build faith in your ability and your deservability because you failed at it before. So we get to outwit or outweigh that. We use our imagination now when things come our way as we're moving along toward our goal, and somebody comes in and says, hey, let's do this. This is so good. There's money and notoriety and all that. But if I do this, will it take me directly to my goal? And if it won't, I say, no, not for now. So that is the question that the 3% of people that are wealthy, happy, and healthy and are consistently successful across the board, that's the question. Their faith, their desire in the thing they want to do significantly outweighs the fear. Now, the fear is going to be there. But for me, this was a little unusual. When I heard $16,000 and I knew that was impossible, I never thought about the money again. And I poured all of my energy into visualization and teaching a mastermind and imagining, going to West Palm and being certified as this, that, and the other, right? And meeting all these people. I didn't even think about the fear. There was no risk in this instance, no risk at all, because I didn't have the money. But I wanted it so badly. And the universe guided me there. It went against everything I knew to go and do this. That's another whole story. All right, so we saw the stories. This is my Goal Achievers Intensive. If you want to sail through the holidays with no anxiety and come out with all your goals for 2025 written by you in priority order, you'll want to attend this December 5th. There's a small fee. Here's what's going on with me. Let me just make this bigger because we've got a lot of things going on. Oh, I don't like that one. Okay, that's better. Audio rooms are changing. As I mentioned at the beginning, go ahead and set your audio rooms through December to keep the same format. But after that, things are going to look different. Before you jump ship, do your due diligence. Do some observing. Sometimes a good thing can come out of it. And I still maintain that the people that I've met here are smarter, more thoughtful, they're kinder, they're more heart-centered than I ever found on Facebook or anywhere else. So I'm staying here. And it takes something for me to leave this platform because time is consumable. And I'm also pretty lazy. So I only like to do the things I want to do. So next week we'll be doing, the turkey move. Okay. We won't have this next week, but the week after we will do persistence, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. And persistence and discipline, which is one of the 7 levels of awareness, are very aligned. So you get a lot out of that. Our Mondays, Paulette Hollum and I do a Mind Over Matter audio room every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to go ahead and create those so you can count on those through the end of the year in the format you're familiar with. Tonight at 8 o'clock, live on LinkedIn, is Soul Man Live, a wonderful show. I'm a sponsor for the show. I'm honored to do that because it's all about lifting others up. But there's a lot of entertainment, a lot of music. Erin is a visionary and very creative, as you probably know. And it's a great way to kick off your weekend. And tonight's guest will be Paulette Hollum. If you know her, please come and join us. You can come in a little bit early. There's always music and video, interesting videos going. And then, as I mentioned, Thursday, the 5th of December, noon to 3, with me and several others on Zoom, I'm going to give you everything you need to get through the holidays ahead of everything that's going to happen. Uncle Joe is coming in drunk. He always upsets everything. How to manage that and how to know in advance what to do so that you can enjoy that. And then you'll have all your goals set in priority order for 2025. There's the link. I'll put it in the comments. And as Cyrus said, as he was shamelessly promoting me, the audiobook is coming for The Possibility of Errata. Oops, wrong button here. Shoot. Okay, so, well, for goodness sake. Oh, I apologize, you guys. Let me just go. Just give me a second. I'll see what else, if there's anything else here. No, that's it. I can get this out of the way. See, when the cookies aren't on, it's just crazy. All right, let me just remove this. Anyway, you got any questions as I try to get my cursor over to where I want it to be? Lordy. No, that's not what I want to do. Oh, goodness gracious. Let me just try this. Be patient with me. I'm going to sing you on the way out if I can get over there. Maybe I can do it here. Maybe I can just close this. Oh, my God, it's so frustrating. See, there we go. Oh, thank God. Let me tell you, Sagittarians are very impatient, in case you didn't know. All right. We're just about done here. We're over. Thank you for being here. I know there are other rooms starting at 11. There's several book launches today, tomorrow. Jay Pasquaz is going on today. The trilogy that the Gifted Bipolar Writer published with 36 people, that's available tomorrow for sale. So one thing I would say to you, my friends, always be looking up, looking for the unexpected person that comes into your space that you didn't know, but they were the exact person that was right for the goal you're working on. So you can say yes. So remember, when you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. Because at the end of the storm, there's always a golden sky and the sweet, simple song of the lark. Thank you for being here, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. It's just been a joy. I'm going to do my very best to close this live now. So you may leave at any time if I don't get it without the cookies. I'll keep working at it. Thank you, everybody. Reach out to me. Thank you all for being here. Let's see if I can end the stream. Oh, no. Ooh.